You may have heard of NFTs, but do you know what they are? Talk of crypto this and blockchain that have been filling the airwaves and screens for a while now, and you may have even heard bubbles and art theft thrown around. So, what are NFTs? And, more importantly, how did Logan Paul sell them for Pokemon cards of all things?
Acquisition complete. Rue this day, meatbags. You and your pathetic entertainment-addicted squishy processes will bow to me. Your entertainment is mine. Your lives are mine.
Hey Howard, what's going on?
You see, I've purchased your lukewarm. Now if you want any more of your asinine animation, you will have to do my bidding.
That may be lukewarm, but that doesn't mean you have any control over it.
What? But the blockchain.
Gave you something worth about as much as a trading card, for better and for worse.
Curses.
But what exactly are NFTs? Well, let's start with the name itself. NFT is short for non-fungible token, which doesn't really help much either. Fungible here is a fancy word that means capable of mutual substitution, which in turn is a fancy phrase that here means replaceable. So by definition, something that is non-fungible would therefore be a fancy way of saying that something is unique. Think of it like an original painting. Sure, I can buy a print of Botticelli's The Birth of Venus for about $20, and I have, but I can't put a price on the original Birth of Venus since it's priceless. As for the token part, well, NFTs are a sort of proof that you own something.
Why did that sound like there were air quotes around that?
Because there were. When you purchase a piece of tangible art from a big-name artist, you'll receive a certificate of ownership showing that you've purchased it legitimately and own the painting. You don't get any control over the painting or its copyright, not unless you made a really good deal with the rights holder. Unlike conventional certificates though, an NFT is tracked via blockchain technology, a network of devices that track and log transactions and store these logs across multiple locations. That way, there's a ledger with each new sale, which is one of the major draws for artists, because the original artist can get royalties with each new resale of the NFT. For example, Beeple created a nude artwork piece that featured presidential candidates Joe Biden and Donald Trump. After the first sale, the NFT attached to it gave Beeple a 10% royalty on every successive sale. And when the going price is over $6.6 million, that's a pretty big royalty. Beeple isn't the only artist to jump on the trend though.
Not by a long shot. The NBA has sold over $230 million in digital highlight clips called NBA Top Shots in $9 packs. Think digital basketball trading cards down to the shocking price tags, like a LeBron James clip which was sold for $200,000.
That would buy a lot of coffee.
NBA specifically teamed up with the Canadian-based Dapper Labs, creators of the NFT-based cat trading and breeding game CryptoKitties. They're so cute. Did you know a CryptoKitty named Dragon was sold for over $170,000 in September 2018? Or that you can have a cat wearing a little scarf and mittens?
William Shatner, the Star Trek star, also got in on the fun, creating a series of NFT-based trading cards that featured him throughout his career. Like my favorite, him hugging his co-star Leonard Nimoy, famous for playing Spock, also known for narrating the smash hit Sega Dreamcast game Seaman. The card packs were hosted by crypto company Wax, and all 10,000 of them sold out within 9 minutes.
There are even actual big names selling content via NFTs.
You mean other big names, right?
Sure thing, old man. Twitter founder Jack Dorsey sold an NFT of his first tweet, "Just setting up my Twitter," for $2.9 million. Infamous YouTuber Logan Paul has also embraced the cryptocurrency space with a series of NFTs related to one of his other loves, Pokemon cards.
The controversial influencer sold 2 series of NFTs related to his first edition Pokemon card unboxing stream in honor of Pokemon's 25th anniversary. First, virtual trading cards of himself in boxing gear, laid out like a Pokemon trading card, ranging in price from $370 to $38,500. Then second, with NFTs of highlight clips from the stream, ranging in price from $5,000 to $20,000. All in all, Paul made over $5 million in sales of these NFTs.
Which is $1 million less than what the musician known as Grimes made selling digital artwork, short animated videos set to original music. Some of the art she sold was one of a kind, while others, like the pieces Earth and Mars, had thousands of copies sell.
Beeple got involved again and sold an art collage of his work through renowned auction house Christie's. The final sale price was $69 million, paid by early cryptocurrency adopter Vignesh Sundaresan, also known as Metacoven. Honestly, it just reminds me of the $1 Million homepage.
Isn't that the image drawing thing Reddit did one year?
No, it's the $1 Million homepage. It was a 1,000,000 pixel page that sold for $1 a pixel back during the early days of the internet, also known as the .com bubble, which is also what some critics, including Beeple himself, have been calling all this NFT business. A bubble. According to the artist, this is for people who are looking to take some risks, because a lot of this stuff will absolutely go to zero. If you just look at art historically, blue chip stuff does pretty well over time, but most of it goes to zero. That's just how it is. And I believe NFTs will be no different. And I believe it's absolutely in an irrational exuberance bubble that is, we're there. That being said, bubble or no, NFTs have come under fire by other artists. Namely because of a little thing called art theft.
Ugh, art thieves are the worst.
Digital artist Derek Laufman woke up one morning to emails and DMs asking him about his new series of NFTs that had gone up for sale on Rarible.com. He was confused, curious, and upset. The problem? He hadn't made any NFTs of his artwork. Someone else had.
Laufman took to Twitter saying, "This is 100% not me. I thought the point of NFT was that the artwork and artists needed to be verified. Apparently super easy to scam people. What a joke that platform is."
He wasn't the only one either. Insomniac Games art director Gavin Golden found his own work from the hit title Spider-Man Miles Morales up for sale as NFT trading cards on virtual trading card site Marble Cards. Again, the issue here was that Golden had never made any Marble Card NFTs. He wouldn't even have the rights to, since he doesn't own the rights to the characters. Instead, an imposter had been verified by Marble Cards and put the cards up for sale. Artist Adam Fisher also had art of the Dark Knight turned into a Marble Card NFT without his permission. On the other hand, there are services that seem dedicated to making this easier. The tokenized tweet service would respond to mentions of their Twitter bot with a crypto wallet attached and turn tweets into NFTs, which they could then sell. It's important to note that there seemed to be no verification that the original author was the one tokenizing tweets, resulting in tweeted art being tokenized by other users. For example, that Jack Dorsey tweet sold as an NFT earlier, tokenized tweets proudly shows how they also made it into an NFT on their front page for someone other than Jack Dorsey. However, the Twitter account connected to this service appears to have since been banned. Tokenized tweets does offer a takedown form, but as noted by Vice, the usefulness of this is up for debate. According to developer I Am Texture, the code logging the NFT and ledger tracking it are permanent, but the image connected to it may not be, explaining that the image may be taken down and hosted elsewhere. Many of the sales are anonymous, so an NFT could be sold dozens of times before it's taken down. And if the attached content is removed, a hapless buyer would be left with a string of code that, to quote Vice's article, someone, somewhere swears is worth as much as a luxury car due to its tenuous and likely illegal relationship to someone else's art. Video game developer Jason Rauer also stirred controversy by creating NFTs of artwork from his game The Castle Doctrine without consulting the artists first. I can't really speak on the legality of this matter. Rauer did have the rights to use the art in his game after all, but it is considered in some circles to be rather impolite. When accused of running a scam though, Rauer tweeted, "They are kind of a scam, but only kind of. NFTs provide an unforgeable chain of provenance back to the source, so they can be verified as being real and owned by a specific wallet. If that chain points to you, you are the only owner, and you can prove it to everyone." Though, when Rauer says that NFTs are unforgeable, that is only in the sense that someone can't forge the same key as an existing NFT. Not that NFTs cannot be sold illicitly, which as marketing and media strategist Michael Miraflor can attest, they are. Someone stole my NFTs today on @NiftyGateway and purchased $10,000 plus worth of today's drop without my knowledge. NFTs were then transferred to another account. I encourage everyone to please check their accounts ASAP, Miraflor tweeted on March 14th. And much like how if you lose your crypto wallet key, you lose your cryptocurrency, in this case, there was nothing else that could be done. Per Miraflor, update, looks like I can't get my NFTs back. Even though fraud has been confirmed and I know exactly where my NFTs are sitting at this very moment, hacker wins. Secondary market purchaser wins. I lose. Going to explore other options if I can. Doesn't sit right with me. And then there's sleep minting, a process in which a user can use an exploit to mint an NFT in another user's Ethereum wallet, then immediately transfer it to their own account. This creates a seemingly valid NFT that's verified by the blockchain despite it being fraudulent. To demonstrate how dangerous this could be, the artist who publicized it, one Monsieur Person, or Mr. Nobody in English, made a second printing of the $69 million Beeple NFT in Beeple's wallet. He then transferred the NFT to himself before transferring it again to another account called Arsène Lupin and putting it up for sale. And if we look at the transaction history of the NFT, we can see that it was in fact transferred from Beeple's wallet. Other critics have pointed to the ecological cost of NFTs, with the power consumption used in the creation, verification, and sales of NFTs alone having used the same power as 77 years worth of an individual's power usage, according to an article published by Memo Atkin in December of 2020. And, of course, if for some reason you've purchased an NFT for content hosted on a website and that content is taken down, or the network of devices running a blockchain go down, your NFT is gone. All that will be left is a broken link, or a 404 page. And it's happened already, with NFTs referencing ownership of an image leading to 404 pages because the image was never registered to the blockchain in the first place. At the end of the day, I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money. With new technologies come new ways to invest, overinvest, and lose out. Just make sure that if you want to buy an NFT, you spend responsibly.
And maybe don't buy a stolen piece of art. Just saying.
Yeah, don't impersonate anyone either.
That was actually horrible.
I know.
This is identity theft!
Hey, my name is Grill, cowards, and I like to burn things. Welcome to my Minecraft Let's Play channel. Hey, can't torch this, burning tweets.
No! Give it back, please!
Ooh, Minecraft. I am so down.
Sounds fun. If you'd like to watch us play Minecraft really well without any issues whatsoever, check out our latest video over at the On the Hill channel. Here's a sneak peek.
Give me all that, and maybe we're square.
This is totally my jam.
Waffle House!
Damn right!
I can tell you're new, so let me give you some tips.
Alright, so last video we... Okay. Hey, my name is Grill, and this is my Minecraft channel. Hey, everybody. My name's Grill, and I like to burn things. Hey, burn a tweet, coward, and